Hey you! Yeah, you! You live in an RV? Well, whether it's part-time or full-time, this video is for you. Why, you ask? Well, if you ever cook anything inside your RV, we have something in common. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. 'Cause today we're making black bean burgers. Now when you're finished watching, I hope a sec you share the word about this good video by subscribing, liking, and sharing. Share this good video with your friends. And if it's horrible, share it with your enemies. See you in the movie.
Welcome once again to This Is My RV Life. And living in a trailer, if you've ever lived in a trailer, you know how limited the space is. And tonight I am going to make vegan burgers.
And you'll be impressed at just how tasty those burgers are going to be.
Now, I've looked at a bunch of recipes. And what's really annoying is that they want you to watch all of these videos and they have all these ads going on. And you have to X out the ad, and it's just so annoying that I gave up on it. So I say to heck with that.
He's such a complaining little grump.
I'm just going to make my own off-the-cuff veggie burger. Now this is couscous. No. This is quinoa. I don't even know the difference between it. I'm such a newbie. You're going to laugh at me. So I advise you, don't take my advice. I'm experimenting.
He's right. Don't take his advice.
I have never cooked quinoa in my life. So I'm going to throw a little bit of oil in that. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But bear with me. If nothing else, it'll be worth a laugh to you. I know I should have put the oil in first. I don't even know if it should have oil. But I'm putting oil in it. To heck with what they say. It's been a long day and I'm tired. Now it says on the package of this thing too, it says 2 cups, but I'm only putting a little bit in.
Yeah, that's it. Don't follow the recipe.
Turn it to low and simmer it covered for 15 minutes. Okay, that's easy enough to do. That's easy enough to do. I know you should take all your ingredients out before you start, but you know what? It just didn't feel right to me. I'm going to start by frying up an onion. Now, something I should get for myself is a chopping block. I don't have one of those. That would probably help the situation a bit. And living in a trailer, if you've ever lived in a trailer, you know how limited the space is. And anyway, this is what I'm going to do right here. I am going to chop up my onion this way. I know this is a Teflon coated pan, but I'm doing my best not to scratch it. And if I scratch it, well, that's life. I don't worry about those things. I know a woman would say, "Don't scratch the pan." But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I think this is too much onion. And it's definitely too big. But let's get this cooking here in a minute. But I'm going to make myself lots of burgers here. Because it's not the easiest thing to do to be cooking a vegan meal every day when you don't have that many hours to spend doing it. But I imagine as time goes on, I will get a little bit better at it. But I'm not much of a cook to begin with. So ladies, if you're saying, there's a catch for me, well, I'm not such a great catch. So don't worry about that idea.
The only ladies that'll be saying those words will be one of three things. Either they're really, really blind, or they're really, really hungry, or else you might catch them fishing for barbot out in the Quinault River.
I couldn't cook my way out of a paper bag. Okay, we'll go with that. I'm going to turn this burner on here and get these onions going. I'm going to put a little bit of oil of sorts in there. I know you should put the oil in first, maybe. Huile de noix de coco, coconut oil. Healthy as hell, this stuff is. Now, boys and girls, like I said, I'm a newbie. I'm learning as I'm going. I'm not worrying too much about the right way of doing things. I have a very simple lifestyle, but I've got a hankering for a burger tonight. And as a result, I'm going to try and do this. Now, I realize just looking at this, that's way too much onion. First of all, and it's way too big. I don't like onion that big, so I'm going to have trouble with this. I know that. And I know you're probably laughing your head off, and that's good. That's a good thing, because if I can't teach you something, I hopefully will give you some humor. But I'm not really trying to teach anybody anything other than it's really simple to start a YouTube channel. If there's something that you are an expert at, or if there's something that you are just learning, why not let people know about the learning process? And it's really this simple. If this old grump can manage to pull this off, anybody can. So I don't want to hear any excuses saying, oh, I can't make vegan food. Well, I disagree, because if I can do it, you can do it. But just don't do it the way I'm doing it, because I know I'm doing it probably very improperly. I'm going to throw some walnuts in here. Why? Because I think it's a good idea. And I love walnuts. And I'm going to mix this in with the mixture afterwards. And you can't go wrong by adding black pepper. And for those who haven't seen my previous videos, this is my ibuprofen black pepper. Well, it actually smells good. Can you smell it? So far, so good. And I think you can't lose by putting a little bit of cayenne on it. Cayenne, I think, is good for the heart. I don't know that for a fact. But what I do know is that my old ticker works pretty good. And I put cayenne pepper on practically everything. Now, I think one of the recipes that I saw called for brown rice, and another recipe called for quinoa. So I'm going with the quinoa, simply because I'm not a brown rice fan. I have some here, but I don't have a whole lot of it. But I think one of the recipes did call for cumin, or cumin. I don't know. How do you pronounce that? C-U-M-I-N. I think the proper pronunciation is cumin, but I think that it's a funny word. I don't know how much to put in here, but I'm just going to put a little wee bit. There. What is that? Just a little wee bit. Sprinkle that in. Maybe it should have gone in with the beans. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll hold off the spices for the beans. Kind of smells good. Okay, so I've got to crush the beans, I would imagine. So I'm using Unico black beans with no salt added. Maybe a little too much black pepper. So when you're an old bachelor, you don't have really modern things to work with. I just make do with what I've got because that's not a big thing for me. Meanwhile, you just watch that quinoa doesn't overcook, but then the heat's no longer on it. So, well, when they call them black beans, they don't call them black beans for nothing. They're pretty black. As a rule, I don't like eating things out of a can. So I'm going to see about buying these in a different format. But look what I got myself today. A potato masher. Why? For the beans. So let's see what happens. There are the beans on top of my laptop.
On top of the laptop, all covered with beans.
Not the greatest place to be mashing beans. But I live in a friggin' trailer. So there's not much choice in the matter. So I kind of laugh whenever I hear people say, oh, being a vegan is too much work. Meanwhile, they live in these beautiful homes, big homes, with lots of kitchen counter space, and they live right next to the store, and they've got everything in the world going for them, except time. Well, I don't even have time, let alone space, but I am making a point to make this work for myself for the simple reason that I don't want to contribute to the needless killing of animals. Now, how do you feel about that? That an animal has to die in order to feed a handful of people. You know, it's one thing for an animal to die, but when cruelty is attached to it, that just lends a whole new connotation to the idea of killing an animal. Now, this doesn't look that appetizing, to be honest with you.
Now, why am I not surprised?
This is what crushed beans looks like, because this is my first attempt ever to do such a monstrosity. Meanwhile, the onions and walnuts are being cooked. The quinoa looks like something's happening to it. And now I was going to stick some oatmeal in with this to give it some adhesion power.
Why not spread some Elmer's glue on that? That'll give it some adhesion power too.
And I'm just going to stick it right in with the black beans. That might not be the right way to do it, but I'm saying I'm the only guy eating it, so what's the big deal? So I'm going to stick a little bit of a handful of rolled oats in with the black beans, and it's either going to work or it won't. And regardless of whether it works or not, I will eat it because that's just the way I am. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, at some point in time here, I may have to look at the recipe again to see if there's anything that I'm missing. But you know, I hate reading. Like when I'm reading a recipe, and I'm very new to reading a recipe, I've discovered that they want to write a friggin' novel. Well, I don't want to read a novel. I want bullet form. Same as if I'm reading instructions on how to assemble something. I don't want to read a novel. Why don't these manufacturers get that through their skull? Just say, do this, do that, do this, do that. That's all you need to say. So I have mixed some rolled oats with my black beans, and look at how fabulous that looks. Wow, I am amazed. I would almost say that my onions are at the stage of being ready to do something with other than fry. So I'm going to turn that guy off. And I've got to put the onions in with this stuff and then mix some more spices with it and see what happens next. I may have to read that novel again, which totally is annoying. So if you are someone who is doing recipes, I can't tell you how many websites I've been to, and they have all of these videos going in the midst of their novel that you have to read, in the midst of all of these pop-up ads that come in that are just so annoying. And you have to pop, like, why do they have ads? They want you to click on the ads so that they get a little bit of money. I can understand that. But if you're trying to read, do you want to interrupt your reading? Like, who in the hell stops their reading to read and to let an ad play? Not me. That's not going to happen. So I leave their website. Am I the only person on earth that does that? I can't imagine. So the onions and the walnuts are now in here. And, you know, that's starting to look a little bit on the semi-appetizing side.
Now who's he trying to kid?
I thought I had too much onion in here a while ago, but maybe I don't. So we're going to put it to the test and find out. So I've got to find more spices here. I've already put a little bit of cumin in it. I don't like saying that word. I want to call it cumin. I think chili powder would be a good thing to put in, and garlic powder, and paprika. I remember seeing paprika somewhere. I should have opened these things up before now. So, a little bit of chili powder, a little bit of paprika. Oh, they're almost the same color. Now, I bought myself some measuring spoons today, but I'm so old school that I'm not using them. I'm just eyeballing what I think should go in there. I might just kill it. Now, I should have put the garlic in the frying pan, and I think I will do that. 1, 2, 3 cloves of garlic. My goodness, my kitchen's a disaster zone. I should have really done this with the onion, and I realize that now. But I'm sort of winging it, as you know.
Yeah, he's a wingman, that's for sure.
So this is olive oil.
And I'm Popeye. Folks, we're trying to keep these cooking sessions to a minimum length, if you know what I mean. So we hope you join us for the continued footage of cooking black bean burgers. Yeah, come and join us in the next episode.